Senator Housakos.
Speaker, my question is for the government leader, and it has to do with user-generated content and digital-first content providers. It's nice to hear the minister say that digital users, content providers, will not be part of this Bill C-11. It's nice to hear the sponsor of the bill say it in this chamber, and it's great and reassuring to hear it in your speech. But the reality of the matter is the amendments that we sent over in good faith, which made it clear that user-generated content would not be caught up in the web that's being spun by this piece of legislation, were rejected by the government. So my question is a very simple one. Why wouldn't the government accept those amendments, making it clear in the law, not a commitment on the part of government, that user-generated content will be excluded and carved out? Why did the government reject those amendments, given the fact that we should take it at face value and accept that those amendments would put in the law the stated intent of what you just shared with us in your speech?
Senator Gold.
Well, the amendment that is before us here, and we are restricted in this debate to the message and not to the rest of the bill. But with regard to the amendments that were rejected, I've given my best explanation as to what the government's thinking was on why it was rejected. But Senator Housakos, respectfully, it's not simply nice that the minister says this or nice that the government representative says it. It's a commitment of this government to do so. And either we believe in our institutions and the integrity of our institutions, or we don't. And the government has been clear that in its opinion, the bill as it stands does not apply to user-generated content. It is going to make it even clearer in its policy directive, and it's made a public commitment to do so. And that is sufficient for my purposes. I believe the government when it says this. I believe in our ability to hold the government to account when it says this. And I believe that this bill, as it was drafted and approved by the Senate, notwithstanding the rejection of this amendment, is a bill that applies to the platforms to support Canadian content and does not apply to user-generated content, notwithstanding the concerns that have been expressed.
Senator Housakos.
Senator Gold, I've been now in this place for 15 years, and excuse me if I'm a little bit skeptical of taking any government at face value. I, as a legislator, would like to see things in the law in black and white. You pointed out as well that we should just have faith that this is going to be done, and that we're here to make sure that we overlook and we carry out our responsibilities, you said in our speech, as legislators, to make sure that the government does what they say. But don't you also agree that we're passing a law here that has not been supported by a regulatory framework? We're leaving it to the CRTC, as you said in your speech. They'll be carrying out public consultations in order to set the regulatory framework. What happens just in case if this regulatory framework isn't consistent to the commitments that you highlighted in your speech? What are our options at that point with this bill as parliamentarians to do a follow-up in a thorough way?
Senator Gold.
Having been here for 15 years and I for 6.5 years, we know that bills, following royal assent, there's a regulatory process. Following royal assent, there will be a process around the policy direction. I outlined that process to you, and I will remind you. It involves public consultation, public input, both at the front end and at the back end when the CRTC receives the public consultation. I will also remind you, colleagues, and as chair of the committee that studied the bill at length, Senator Housakos, you will also know that the bill provides for reports to Parliament and parliamentary oversight, and which is and was improved in that regard by Senator Quinn's amendment. We have many tools in our arsenal. But the important tool that, but the arsenal that we carry with us is a sense of what is our role here in the Senate, our responsibility as a Senate. 99% of this bill was approved by this place and the other place. The 20 out of 26 amendments were approved by 3 parties in the other place. And this bill has been studied in this place and in another place extensively. The time has come now to recognize this is an important bill, a good bill. The government has made firm, solid public commitments. And the text of the law is also clear with regard to what it applies to and what it does not apply to. And if that's not enough for those in this chamber who, in good faith, want to see this bill succeed and pass, then I have run out of things to say. If you want to kill the bill, there's lots of ways to do it. We've seen it in the past. We know how to do that. We can delay it. We can hope for another election. We can get it buried and die on the order papers. But for those of us who believe that this is a good bill, a bill that's been improved by our amendments, and who believe that the elected members of the House of Commons have done their responsible duty and taken us seriously and approved 20 out of 26 amendments, the time now is to give it royal assent.
Okay, Senator Housakos, if you don't mind, we have quite a number of senators. We'll do a second round, okay? Senator Wallen.
Thank you, Speaker. Just for the record, Senator Gold, the constitutional design does allow for the Senate to challenge the House of Commons, and not just once. And you cited the cases yourself. And I guess I would also add that declaring mission accomplished is also a bit of a risky move when we heard from dozens and dozens and dozens of witnesses speaking on behalf of literally thousands of content creators about their concerns. We also heard from former CRTC chairs, from federal judges, that this bill would have and could have unintended consequences on a free and open internet. So if I could just focus again on what my colleagues have said, if you believe, and yes, we've heard the minister say it repeatedly, and we've heard you say it repeatedly, but if you believe this bill does not apply to user-generated digital content, why would you not put it in the law itself for clarity? This just continues to raise questions and doubts, and it's just what we do with legislation here. And there, as you know, many questions in the public about the intent of